Now, after days of speculation, U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi touched down in Taiwan on Tuesday. She claims the trip aims to show America's commitment to Taiwan, which is a self-ruled island, which China claims as its very own. China has condemned the visit, calling the landmark visit extremely dangerous. Now, Pelosi and a delegation were greeted by Taiwan's Foreign Minister Joseph Wu and Sandra Oudkirk, who is the top U.S. representative in Taiwan. Now, the visit has strained U.S.-Chinese relations once again. In a statement, Pelosi said America's solidarity with the 23 million people of Taiwan is more important than ever. In an opinion piece published in the Washington Post after she landed, Pelosi further wrote that Taiwan's democracy is under threat and a visit should be seen as a statement that the U.S. stands with Taipei as it defends itself and its freedom. Her arrival prompted a furious response from China as well. China considers Taiwan as part of its own territory and has said that it is willing to use force if needed to bring it under its control. Chinese warplanes buzzed at the line dividing the Taiwan Strait before her arrival. As the plane touched down, over 20 Chinese military jets entered Taiwan's air defense zone. And within an hour of her visit, Beijing also announced that its army would conduct a series of live-fire military drills in the air and at sea around Taiwan from Thursday to Sunday. It further warned that the ships and aircraft should not enter the affected areas. Beijing has also summoned the U.S. ambassador to condemn Pelosi's trip. On the agenda today is a meeting with Taiwan's President, Tsai Ing-wen. They will also have lunch together. Pelosi traveling with 6 other American lawmakers as of now, and this has become the most senior U.S. political leader to visit Taiwan since 1997. Reports also say that Pelosi is scheduled today to meet activists outspoken by China's human rights record. Her stopover in Taiwan comes amid a longer Asia tour that includes visits to Singapore, Malaysia and South Korea and Japan. Her Taiwan visit was, however, unannounced, but it was widely anticipated as Pelosi's motorcade approached her hotel, heavily escorted by the police. Scores of supporters cheered her arrival. Meanwhile, the White House on Tuesday reacted to the developments, saying that the U.S. was not going to be intimidated by China's threats, and there was no reason as to why her visit should create a conflict, since there was no change in U.S. policy. The U.S. also stressed that it supported Taiwan's right to self-defense, but not its independence, thus maintaining the status quo.
I wanted to let you know.
Have an opportunity to talk to you over the
As I was entering the UN building, as I was entering the UN, the General Assembly Hall.
yes.
And for more on this, we are now being joined by Ray Locker, who is a journalist from Washington, D.C. We're also being joined by our correspondent Susan Tehrani from New York. Welcome to the broadcast. Well, my first question is for you, Ray. Now, Nancy Pelosi is the first highest-ranking U.S. official to visit Taiwan in 25 years. What is the significance of the visit by Pelosi?
Well, I think coming not too long on the heels of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, it's showed support for Taiwan, who's very similar to Ukraine. China claims Taiwan. Russia has claimed Ukraine for a long time. We've seen what a disaster the invasion of Ukraine has been. And China has been rattling sabers about Taiwan. So, Pelosi's there to show that people in the United States support Taiwan against any kind of threat from China.
Right. I would also like to bring in Susan Tehrani in the discussion. Now, Susan, China's military has said that it is on high alert and it would launch a series of targeted military actions in response to Pelosi's visit. We already know that 20 Chinese fighter jets have entered Taiwan's space. What more steps is China expected to take moving forward?
We're probably going to hear more rhetoric coming out of China while Nancy Pelosi is in Taiwan. She landed safely. The question many are asking right now is how safe will it be for her to depart Taiwan? But the real challenge really will be after Nancy Pelosi leaves, because those military exercises that you mentioned will start on Thursday and continue until Friday. China has been very aggressive with its rhetoric, while it won't probably engage in a direct confrontation with the United States. And perhaps these military exercises are aimed to just, demonstrate China's so-called might, but it's very likely that if there is some kind of miscalculation on the part of China in the Taiwan Strait, then, things could get out of hand. So it's very sensitive, but I think the most sensitive part perhaps is when Nancy Pelosi's plane departs from Taiwan.
Right. Coming back to you, Ray. Now, China just few days ago had warned U.S. against playing with fire over Taiwan. And now that Pelosi is in Taiwan, do you think Chinese aggression will increase?
Well, I don't really know what they could do. They'll have those military exercises. If the Taiwanese just keep their cool and stay away from that, it'll probably go away. This doesn't change U.S. policy. I mean, we still have a one China policy, and that China is Beijing. This is a show of support for Taiwan, which has all kind of existed in a form of limbo for the past 51 years since the United States recognized the People's Republic of China. And it's been working so far. I know China lays claim to Taiwan, but it really hasn't done anything to take it back. And I don't think the United States has any intention of changing the policy that it's been operating under since the early 1970s.
Right. Coming back to you, Susan. Now, Nancy Pelosi said that the visit shows America's unwavering commitment to Taiwan. But U.S. President Joe Biden just a few days ago said that Pelosi's Taiwan visit is not a good idea. Now, does this signal a lack of Indo-Pacific policy on part of the United States of America?
It's very interesting in that op-ed that Nancy Pelosi penned in the Washington Post that came out shortly after she arrived in Taiwan. She used language that's very similar to that of Joe Biden. She said this trip is really to demonstrate the power of democracy over autocracy. And because of that public nature that her trip really played out prior for her departing to going to Taiwan, it was important for her to show that, it was clever for her to show that level of support and unity, notably for a domestic audience. On the one hand, we know that Nancy Pelosi has really garnered support from both sides of the aisle for this visit to Taiwan. On the other hand, President Joe Biden didn't go far enough as saying that he doesn't believe that Nancy Pelosi should not visit Taiwan. He said that, it was the Pentagon and the military that said that, it wasn't a good idea for her to visit. But ultimately, I think right now, as she is in Taiwan, there is sort of a consensus among lawmakers that it was a good idea for her to go, notably because China has been so aggressive. And if she did decide not to go because China had made those threats prior to her arrival in Taiwan, it would just sort of demonstrate that perhaps America was taking its marching orders foreign policy agenda from Xi Jinping, and that wouldn't be a very good look.
Right. Ray and Susan, thanks for getting us up to speed on this. We will, of course, be tracking this throughout the day. Thanks very much.
Thanks.